So imagine this. 3 months before this, I decided I'm going to stop drinking and going alcohol free. And this was the first time Neil's come into an event, but I ain't drinking. And that's something that I'm not used to. I hadn't been for a number of years, but I was apprehensive. But anyway, the event was awesome. We go down, I'm with my mates, everybody's having a wicked time. DJ's playing, and I'm hearing some top DJs that I really rate and respect. And my boys to the side of me, they're all waved, right? They're all drunk. And there's me, sober. And I remember I was chatting to somebody at the bar because I went to go order a drink. And this girl next to me says, "What's in that?" And I said, 7-Up. And she's like, "Yeah, but what are you putting in that?" And I'm like, "Just 7-Up." And then she was just like, what, like she just looked confused. And I just said to her, "I don't drink." And she was like, and she looked at me a bit in disgust, but then it turned into, "That's really mad. You can come to a rave and not have a drink." She was like, "That I respect that." And she spotted me. I was like, "All right, safe, cool." But then, as I'm standing and watching this DJing, this other girl comes in front of me. And Matt, she's looking at me, smiling and everything. And my boy's thinking like, "Oh, look, Neil, somebody's interested in you." And my boy shoved me towards her. I said, "Go on, bruv," because I'm single. He said, "Go on, bruv." And in my head, I'm like, I don't give a damn about this person. I'm trying to listen to the mix. I'm more interested in the DJ. So I'm looking towards the DJ, but then this girl's demeanor and face changes and she starts screwing up her face at me. And I sense something's not cool here. And I look at her and I was like, "Are you all right?" And she was like, and then she grabs her finger, pushes it into my chest and really screws in. She said, "I don't like you." And I was just like, and I look at her face, Matt, and I can see the glaze in her eyes and the drunken. Working years in clubs, I know what this is, right? And in my head, what I'm trying to understand is I'm looking at a mix, my mates is beside me, and I look to my friends and I was like, "Help." But they're so drunk, they think me and her are flirting. And they're like, "Go on, Neil, go on." And I'm like, it's not that. And she gets more and more angry and she gets more and more like screw-faced at me. And a big part of me is like, I'm going to kick off in a minute. And I've never hit anybody and I don't do that, but I'm getting more and more irate. And she's digging me, she's pushing me back and stuff like that. She's like, "Why won't you dance with me?" And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't give a shit about you. I'm trying to listen to the mix. But she then goes to headbutt me. And in that split second, Matt, I had to kind of compose myself and now coming to the point of responding. And I was just like, I can either do a couple of things. This could all kick off. I could drag my mates in. I know if they get dragged in, then something's going to kick off. And this is a lady, right? And I don't hit women. And I took a deep breath and I'm full of this anger and I just walk out of the venue. And I go on to Poland Street and I had to sit down on a stoop. And I had to really calm myself down. Because in my head, the way I was looking at it was, here's Neil finally getting back into music. I'm at an awesome venue. I've had an awesome day with my friends. And this one individual has effed all of that up and put me in a mood. And normally at this point, what I'd want to do is just go home. But I sat there for 20 minutes. And then eventually my drunk mates came out. It's like, "Neil, we've been looking for you. Where you been?" And I said, "That girl tried to kick off, bruv. I'm not going to have this." But I didn't want the day to end. So what I decided was to go back in the venue, ignore that person, just go into another room and enjoyed it and came out of it. But at that moment, it was a case of I could have reacted with a drunk punter. But then I just said to myself, something was within her that she wasn't happy with. And she's trying to take out on somebody that's not giving her the time of day.